Yo, it's in the booth with Lobo Boys, and of course, as always, I'm hanging with people who love the game on levels. I have to alert myself being joined by the Buttamanecane himself. Give it up for the guy you may have heard on some of the Black Players Home Mixtape podcast. What's going on, my dude? How's life?
Hey man, we just out here in the Houston, Texas area, keeping people from being ashy. I'm Buttermain Queen. I'm the Buttermain. If you're not putting that butter on, then I'm talking about that body butter, that lotion, that body frosting, you're wrong. So
Yeah.
hit me up on bettysbook.com. Hit my at right here on Instagram if you need to get some of that good body butter flavor. I got different scents. Something you can put on to make somebody, look back at you, something like that, or I can give you something that real minty, something to get you relax, some lavender. So I'm
Yep.
all about skincare. I'm all about community, and cultivating environments where people can be their best. So shout out to Splobo for inviting me. I also love the game of baseball. So we'll get
Yeah.
into it. I'm from Houston, Texas. So that means I'm a dreaded Astros fan. So go ahead and hit my DMs about any of that. Send some trash cans and I will reply in kind. So yes,
Yo,
ready to get into it.
Yo, shout out to that body butter, man. Like, I gotta give a big shout out there to Betty's book because I had some. Because the one of the most embarrassing things now at the winter time, the winter months, is when
Yep.
you go out there, you get yourself all lathered up, you get yourself all moisturized. You go outside, the wind smacks you across the face, and you dry out. And you're like, oh
Dry out.
man. But then I realized the products of Betty's book, you got the little thing you can put in your bag, you can put in your wallet, you can put in your pocket, always whip it out, make sure you're all nice and moisturized. So props for thinking ahead for the situation
Yeah.
and practical use. You know what I'm saying?
Always be prepared. Always be prepared. You might be shaking some hands, and you got that little grayscale on the side of your little thumb. You
Oh,
don't
he
need.
knows. He knows.
I know every crevice and corner needs to be moisturized, and so that's what I'm here for.
Before we get to the baseball thing, real quick, how'd you decide that body butter was going to be your thing? I'm just curious. When you're like, I know we all need it, but you're like, nah, this is my lane right here. How that happen?
My sister put me into the game. She got me into the game. She gave me my first brick of shea butter, that is. And she was like, I'm a teacher. I ain't got time to be making this stuff. She did it as a hobby and she passed it on to me. And my grandmother, her name is Betty, and she was a big time like tax consultant in Houston. She started her own business at 11 years old. And she really inspired me to just start my own journey in, entrepreneurship and cultivating like community venues and environments. And so she was a big influence, and that's what my business is called, Betty's Book. You can probably see the little,
Okay.
little, I guess, flag in
Oh
back.
yeah, I see that.
But
Yeah.
yeah, she really put me on. My grandmother was big on hygiene, health, smelling good. Don't come in the house smelling like outside, kind of thing. So that influenced me to make a body butter that was not only like something that was beneficial to your skin, but also makes you feel good and smell good. I think the first step in becoming the best you can be is just feeling good about yourself and feeling confident in yourself. And so that's really where the body butter journey started. And I was tired of being ashy. I was tired of seeing people being ashy around me. And so so none of my friends will be ashy,
I,
including
it,
Flobo. So
I crack up because most people who are ashy don't even realize they don't even know they're the problem. But like, no, I'm tired of being ashy. I'm
yeah,
like,
I
oh,
got tired. Sometimes you get tired of it.
okay.
Things hurt. You put your shirt on, you feel the cotton just rubbing against your face. Put a little butter on. You gotta have a little layer on there. You know what I'm saying? So
The
that's
fact you
what
dead serious is cracking me up. You're like, no, I'm serious. I hate that feeling.
I'm dead ass.
Yeah. All right, so Houston original, man. Astros fan, was it day one? Did you try to audition other teams when you got into baseball? When did you realize the Astros were your squad? Do you have a particular moment, year, age when it came to you?
I'm gonna admit this, and I don't really say this often, but I'm actually originally from the DFW area, Dallas, and I moved into Houston. Yeah, so there was a time where I was watching A-Rod hit, tanks in Texas, and I moved over to Houston around like '07, '08. And that's when I joined as an Astros fan. That was around the time we were getting into those rough days where we were finally seeing teams like the Astros losing like 115 games a year. The original tankers, before there was the Orioles, before people, see the Reds, how they were, before it was, I guess, the Rockies, or all these
Yeah.
teams were trying to like tank. It was the Astros that were the first, I think, to kind of make that a thing or a brand. It was like losing was a brand. And something about like going to a game and it was only like $1 or I mean virtually free. There was times where there was no one that even there to check you in. You just walk into an Astros game. And I really felt like going into environments like that is where you find the true baseball heads. And that's where I really got my love into baseball was going to those games where there was only like less than 5,000 people. We getting smashed up by the Brewers and Ricky Weeks. That's
Yeah.
when I got introduced to the Astros fandom, and then of course things turned around 2015. I would say 14.
Yeah.
We don't really talk about 14. 15 was when we like, oh, they have a winning season. 14 was like, okay, we got some prospects. The tanking thing kind of worked, and so that's when I got started, and then we started winning, and that was fun. That was fun, and it's still fun. I mean, we're still, winning, and then the cheating scandal happened. Uh, you
Well,
know,
according to Major League Baseball, what cheating scandal? Because no one got punished, to be honest with you. People got their jobs lost, but it wasn't like you had to give it back. It was
no
like, yeah, you
players
guys
got
won.
punished. No one got punished. And I think a lot of Houston fans, I'm gonna be real, a lot of them are in denial still. I'm not a denier. I don't deny that we cheated. I just thought we just got to it before everybody else. We probably just got, exposed before everyone else did. But at the end of the day, I still ride for my Astros. I follow every prospect, every move, every transaction, and I'm pretty critical of my team as well. And so I would say you're talking to one of the more honest
Okay. I'm
Astros.
glad. No, I'm
A
glad
lot
because I
of
don't.
us are not very happy about people sending trash cans to our DMs or in comments every time Altuve does something. We go and see so many little trash cans. I just think that's disrespectful. Do it to another player. But yeah, Astros have been in my heart. But I'm a big baseball fan, so I follow every player. I'm not gonna down any other teams just because mine is the Astros are my number one. So
So were the Astros like a familial, like a family thing, or was it like, no, this is my team, and you kind of did your own thing when it comes to that?
I'd say it was my own thing. A lot of my family members don't even watch baseball. They only watch when the playoffs comes around, and
Okay.
that's cool. I'm not trying to just shit on people for doing that. It's a long season, but it was just it's hard to not love an underdog. And at the time, the Astros were an underdog when they first took the division. Well, threatened the division in 2015 against the Rangers when it was kind of neck and neck. People were not sure, like, what is this team? What are they doing? They're hitting a lot of home runs. I just fell in love with the grit and the style of play that they do, station to station, being emphasizing the fastball, something like Brent Strom did when he was over with the Astros. Something I really enjoyed, and also their investment in their minor league system. In most minor league and prospect publications, you won't see the Astros farm system anywhere in the top 10 anymore,
Hmm.
but their development has always been something that I really admired, was that they can take players who were signed out of the Dominican Republic for $5,000, $10,000, like Framber Valdez, and then turn
Right.
them into an ace. That stuff makes me really like happy just to see diamonds in the rough. So I'm really a big fan of just their style.
Okay, so we touched upon that fateful 2017 season, and I will say this: to this day, only A Rod and Altuve gets booed whenever they show up to a stadium.
Right.
You say you're not a denier, but I gotta ask, as a long term fan, like, what was your thing? What did you have to take a break from the team, or you're like, it happened, don't worry about it, brother? Like, what was your going through your mind when you come to light that 2017 season was tainted?
I would say I was just numbed out, to be honest, because like the way that it was revealed, the news came out actually during a very convenient time. Okay, not convenient for the world. It was COVID. People found out the Astros cheated during COVID, which was kind of a blessing in disguise because there's a lot other things going on outside of just baseball. But I think that gave the Astros a little bit of cushion to kind of like not feel the full brunt of what was to come. I mean, it's not going to end. I think that the Astros bashing will still go on, and even after Altuve's even there, or the last player that was on that team was even there. But in my mind, when I'm just seeing like Carlos Correa jump on interviews during spring training and just kind of ride for his guys, there was a mixed feeling of, let's hang in there, guys. This is gonna be a rough one. And like, damn, we really uh took some technology and turned this into something that has never been seen before. This was a cheating system that has never been done before that we've, have found out from any other team. But it just really shocked me for the first off, and then second off, it really just kind of put me into the perspective of just the entire game. Like, how far will you go to win? And it kind of I lost a little bit of hope in the team because I thought, like, well, if they're using this system to cheat, then what does that say about our hitters? What does that say about Altuve's MVP in his batting title? What does that say about Marwin Gonzalez? We know what that said about him because he kind of just fell off a cliff after, he couldn't, use cameras and trash cans anymore. So I lost some hope, but I was always loyal in a way. If that makes sense. So
No, it totally makes sense. Yeah, you got to ride for your team, I guess, through thick and thin. So I had the pleasure of seeing an Astros game. I'm a ballpark chaser. I'm on 24 stadiums. I got 6 more to go. I went to, I guess they used to be called the Juice Box. So they just changed the name of the stadium for next season. What's it called? Dyken Field? What? Dyken Field? I gotta look that up. But the crowd was very diverse. There was a lot of people out there, but it seemed to be still more leaning towards Caucasian families. As a person of color, I ask you about the fan makeup of Astro fans. Is there enough of us at the game? Is there anything we can do to improve the numbers of us coming to games? What's your perspective on that?
I think so. But here's the thing about I don't know when you first, I mean, was it last year when you first came to Minute Maid, or was it before?
It was August 2023 against the Red Sox. It was a Space City Monday.
That was your first time there. So
first and only time.
I have to say, Astros, the demographics of Astros fandom in the seats has changed significantly due to different factors. One of them is ticket prices, of course. Another one is championships have changed the topography of what you'll see at an Astros game. And another thing is accessibility. So it's a very accessible park. I mean, it's in the middle of downtown. It's hard to say for some, other cities who have.
So I'm kind of here. Dyken Field. That's a confirmed name for next season. It's a Japanese HVAC company. Continue.
I have no idea I have no idea why they did that other than money. But I think the demographic of of just Astros fans has changed. Of course, it's just because Houston is a very diverse city. Like, some even compare it to New York and even Toronto, as far as like the different races and religions and cultures here. I think it's changed over time. When I was a kid, you would see a lot of different people there, and you would see more because some of the seats would be empty. But over time, when we started winning games, tickets got a little bit higher. A lot of more of the suburbanites and some of the folks that live in, I'm just throwing out suburbs in Houston, Woodlands, Katy, Sugarland, which has our AAA team there. A lot of them started coming to the games more. So you'll see a lot more caucasity at games in post 2020, 2017. People kind of just jumped on the hype train. And even just like the feel of going to a game. Like, I've talked about this before that in, I guess, our private baseball chat, but I do enjoy going to other parks. And one of them used to be going to like Oakland Coliseum, just because it reminded me of the old days where you just see all types of people at a baseball game. Whereas now you'll see a lot of white people.
Yeah.
All parts. And then and it's funny because it's not even true of the racial diversity of the entire city of Houston, which is, I'd say, about 25%, 20 to 30% white. And then it was like about 30 to 35% Hispanic, Latino, another 20% Black, another, I guess I'm getting the math wrong, another 20% Asian, but it's super diverse. So it's really kind of an eye opener.
No, it's interesting about the demographic makeups. A lot of times, like, I'm a Mets fan, just for those of you who know by now, because all my episodes are Mets centric. The Mets are 17th out of 30 in attendance, and you ask people why aren't they going to games, and they'll say things like tickets cost a lot, which they do. The parking's a lot, which they do. But everyone loves a winner. I think the team historically has underachieved, and so you feel, why am I going to put money into something that makes me going to be upset? Because in the last season, on the OMG run, people came out of absolutely nowhere. But it does seem the Astros have the opposite problem. For the past or better part of a decade, if you wanted to be a successful team, you had to go through Houston And I always feel like that rules those park were full to the brim. So let me ask you this though: with more of the quote capacity at this park, is it a what? How do you describe the vibe compared to say Texas or I guess what's the other closest team to you then? Colorado? Like I'm not sure.
The
What's
vibe.
yeah? What's the vibe like in Houston?
The vibe is all this always hype. I'm not gonna lie, the energy is always there. That's something I can never deny. And when you go into, I guess, what is now called Daikin Park, I will call it Minute Maid Park just because that's what I've been to. That's the park I've
Enron
been.
feels not too hype for you.
Yeah, no. But there's something about I would say that the vibe at an Astros game is one, it's very welcoming. I say the people who serve beer, everybody, all the staff and all the grounds crew, everybody that's working there, the concessions, they're super nice. That's just kind of like a southern, maybe Texas thing. People are just so kind for the most part, except for on the roads. But I would say that the vibe, I will say this. I was at a game and I saw the biggest Blue Lives Matter flag stretched across like several fans, like a whole section of fans. And I wouldn't say that's welcoming to black people, but but it
You
was
wouldn't.
loud. So it's like the vibe is also a shared, like people understand that we all are rooting for the Astros. That's really where it kind of gets to there. Depending on the opponent, though, if the Yankees are in town, you're gonna see that everyone's there. And I'm not even like Yankees fans, mostly Astros fans, just to troll Yankees fans. So if it really kind of the vibe kind of shifts depending on the team that actually shows up. When the Texas Rangers show up, every seat is filled. It's sold out. That's one of our biggest rivalries. If it's a Dodgers game, if like there's been more interleague play lately,
Yeah.
it's packed out. If it's against a team like, let's say, the Rockies,
Hmm.
it's just gonna be a regular game. But I would say that the vibe is consistently energetic. Everyone is having a great time. You can talk to the person right next to you. You get those nosebleed seats. Those are some of the hardcore fans are actually up there. And so I'd say it's a very positive vibe. If you have a chance, anyone who's listening, just pull up to Houston. And it's also easy to walk around downtown. There's so much food and festivities around. And it's pretty easy to park. You can probably park for free and walk there. Just take a couple blocks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I stayed at the hotel and just walked down there. So, all right, how does Buttamanecane do a game? Are you there first out, last out? Do you come in third or fourth? Are you doing a food run? Are you moving your seat every inning? If I'm going with you, you're taking me out to see your version of baseball. How do you take it in?
All right, so I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm so tapped in. I feel like on the game is that I feel like I don't even have to be there until first pitch or even like the national anthem, whatever. I pull up, I go to the game. Well, first we're gonna go get Frank's Pizza, maybe like 3 blocks away, get a
Okay.
beer, get sauced up a little bit because you ain't trying to pay no stadium prices for beer.
I wish you told me
Beer.
before I went. I went broke that night.
Yeah, and then I might even have a cooler on me because you can bring food, you can bring drink,
I
so I'll
didn't
bring my
know,
cooler.
but man, I didn't know.
Yeah, I got
I'm
my
still
little
paying it off.
You go up there, there's so many places to go, and then you go in. You might walk. I might, just pull up to the concession, grab another beer. Might as well. Then you take your seat. We're gonna just, I guess, go through this whole the national anthem, whatever. See whoever gonna go up there and sing. And honestly, I'm there to the last out, even if we're like destroying the team or if we're losing. So I try to get that last out in. You might see a lot of people walking out around the 8th or the 7th sometimes actually in Minute Maid because either there's a lot of group of Astros fans that are very complacent, and I'm gonna say that. Yeah, some of them are just like so used to it, like, oh, we're winning, we're gonna leave. And then you have others that just can't bear to see themselves lose, so they'll leave well, before the 8th, but it's usually a mistake because sometimes the Astros can make something happen in the later
Yeah,
innings.
absolutely. So you're not scoring the game or like that. You're not doing the food tour. You're not. But you're in the rafters or you're in the on top of the third baseline. Like where you sitting, by the way?
Man, I would prefer to sit on that third baseline. But at the same time, if I'm trying to go to games like to a whole series, I'll go up there. I'll go way in at the top. you know,
Okay.
time where you could buy tickets at the top and just walk to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you could be right behind the catcher. You would buy a ticket that's like right in the corner, and you'd be right behind the catcher because there was no one going. But now, people are there. So if I want to see the whole field, sometimes I do enjoy seeing just everything like a playbook. So I'll intentionally get a ticket in the 400s and just like want to kind of just look at it like a like a like a medieval general or something.
Look beyond my furthest
Yeah,
glare.
like a Mongol general just looking at the battlefield. So
You,
like I do like getting those top seats just because I just love seeing the entire field. I like hearing the ball come off the bat from up there. It's just a good feel. So either way, I could sit anywhere, honestly.
talk about vibes. I hear you because so even though I'm a diehard Mets fan, I live out here in Los Angeles, and Dodger Stadium is honestly down the street. It's still a 40-minute drive of traffic. And when I'm going to Dodger Stadium, I'm like, yo, look, they already charged me an arm and a leg. I'm gonna try to
Right.
get the best seats possible. And in LA, if it's a day game, you're basically trying to find where shade is, right? Because it's like 10 degrees
Yeah.
hotter on the asphalt thing.
Okay.
But to your point, sometimes you're kind of like, no, I just want to watch a game how it used to be, like how the Brooklyn Cyclones are, single A Brooklyn is. And so I go down to Anaheim. I'll go to Anaheim, get myself a $7 ticket,
Right.
watch the Angels
Sounds
against the
like
Tigers, and just sit up there and just drink and have a good time.
it's
I wish
vibe.
it's a vibe, man. I think there is something to be said about seeing a premium product in the Dodgers. I think some fans will like that, especially if you're bringing it on there. But like the idea of like having like this like picnic vibe at a team that may not be
Yeah.
good is something we kind of missing out in the new flavor of ball.
Yeah, and that's something that I feel like when you said picnic vibe, that's something I feel a lot at like the minor league affiliate because our minor league AAA team is only like 20 minutes outside of town. And so,
Okay.
like, they have this nice little like courtyard and behind center field where you can just set up a picnic blanket, have a couple beers and just kind of chill out with your person, whoever's there with you. And so it's just something about just being at games. It just gives you that old school feel, just to be there and to be in the environment and just be able to see everything from a larger perspective than just like kind of being right behind the players in the game and hearing what they have to say. I like
Yeah.
vibe, so it's always just fun just to be at the game in general.
This is the Sugarland Space Cowboys.
That's the Space Cowboys, the Sugarland Space
What's
Cowboys.
a space cowboy? What is a space? What
I,
does that
I
even mean?
imagine it to be a space ranger or maybe like a space. I don't know what kind of cattle are up there, like a space colonizer. I don't know. But they put a little helmet on them with a hat, and I guess we take a lot of pride in having, NASA here. So we have a lot of space themed things here in Houston. And so
Yeah,
I think of it as a space ranger, some like Buzz Lightyear too.
the
Something
most
like
sexist
that.
thing ever. Let's do a cowboy in space. So we also talk about the 2024 and the 2025 season. The Astros didn't really go as far as we thought they would. Got their legs swept in that opening round, the wild card round. A lot of things were happening in the hot
B.
stove. I know you guys are going to sign Juan Soto, but what's really the major storylines you guys are looking forward to reload for 25?
We're gonna see what Dana Brown do, man.
I don't know, man. He
Man,
gave Joe Espada that job. I didn't trust him, and they put him in that spot. Look what that team is now. We argued about
here's
that.
the mixed feelings here, Houston. So we have one camp that really doesn't like Joe Espada because they really loved Dusty. We have a lot of black fans. If I can speak on black fans, black Houston fans, anytime I bring up Joe Espada, he's like, he ain't no good. He a joke, because they love Dusty. And so, but here's the caveat to me though. I don't think a lot of Houston fans really know who the fuck, if that's ca- able to say here, they don't know who Dana Brown is. Dana Brown
Okay.
created players that have been iconic in the game of baseball. He's the one that drafted and found out about Michael Harris. He's the one that found out about Steven Strasburg. He's the reason why the Nationals are the way they are. He's the reason why the Atlanta Braves are as successful as they are. They give it to AA a lot, but it's really Dana Brown, his scouting knowledge and his ability to find really good players where no one's actually looking for them is paramount. And so I really do think that these next few years is going to be Dana Brown's show. The Houston Astros were kind of ran by we have a very involved owner in Jim Crane, and he likes to kind of play GM sometimes. He's the one that signed Jose Abreu, who's not with the team anymore. He signed another reliever that we had who had one good year, and that player is not on the 40-man roster anymore. So I think it's just this season is really going to be letting Dana cook, let Dana Brown cook. His first act as a GM getting a first rounder was Bryce Matthews, and that was last year, a black player out of the city of Houston who lives in Houston. And he did the same thing when he was at Atlanta. He was finding players in the area, local players, and if they didn't have them, he would go and trade for them. Matt Olson, that's a guy who's from Georgia. And so he understands the importance of having players that are from the region who really care about the city and who have a connection to the city. And that's his style. And so I think this is this last season we got swept by the Detroit Tigers. And
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a baseball masochist.
Aren't we all though?
I was like, damn, they whooping our ass kind of good. I don't know. I was a little fascinated. I wasn't distraught. I was like, ooh, that's okay, Detroit. So I'm trusting Dana on this, and he's a black GM. There's not too many black general managers out there, or even in like management, in leadership in baseball. And so I'm really excited to see what he does.
I think you touched upon that debate. We're talking about black representation on the player level, but the staff level and the front office is definitely something that needs to be worked on too. I mean, look, I want to ask you why you think that is, but besides racism,
Yeah.
why do you think that is?
I mean, I'm not gonna act like I had a chance to play college or even play in like the majors or anywhere near or even indie ball, but I played baseball as a kid. I played baseball in high school. And there's something about being a black baseball player that makes you different than just being a white or non-black baseball player. And I think there's a problem. It's like they only can see black people in one type of like role in the game. So like if you got wheels, right? And whether you play shortstop, maybe you need a little work at shortstop. Oh, automatic center field, automatic right field, automatic outfield. I feel like we've been typecasted in the roles on the field, and to see black representation in the leadership in the executive level of baseball teams, we're able to have a chance to see individuals that can see players outside of the typecasted role that we've been historically given on the field. And so I think that's what's important about having a GM like Dana Brown who can kind of see the full picture. They kind of look outside of just kind of those stereotypical things that are given to or that black players are typecasted as. And so I think that if we have a lot more black leadership, you see like like coaches like Dave Roberts, who was a speedster. He was on the basis. He was kind of in his own way typecasted in a specific role. And now that he's at the management level, you see how he's able to plug in different players, platoon. He's able to, put in a pinch hitter or even just like believe in certain players. And even if they're not black, he just kind of sees them holistically. And I think that's what's important is that they take another lens outside of just like, oh, this guy hits for power, he runs, or he defends well. And so I think that's what's important is that we have people who are, when they're given that opportunity, they're able to kind of run with it and kind of see players holistically and just outside of just the one, attractive tool that they have.
It's interesting you mentioned that because we talked about before going live that we're both fans of out of the park baseball, the GM simulation game, and no matter which team I run currently this season, I used to be the A's general manager. I run the Diamondbacks now. I always try to draft Chucky Robinson because there's not many black catchers. There's no black catchers.
Astros catcher. That's so, yeah.
Because about representation, it's kind of like, oh, are you going to call a game? Nah, stop playing. If you got some heft on you, you're going to be first base. Go to first base, hang out, kind of a thing. So I ask everyone who's a guest on the show this question. I think I'm going to assume you have a different answer, but let's dig it. Is baseball cool? And if so, tell me how. And if not, how could it be cool?
Is baseball cool?
Right now. For the generation,
Cool.
next generations, to get people on, casual fans who didn't give it a chance compared to when we were kids, is baseball cool?
I gotta say, baseball is cooler now than it has been even since last year and the year before and the year before. It's hard to even put those two things in the same sentence, but I have to honestly say baseball is a lot more cool now than it has ever been. To wear a baseball jersey of a random player, for example. I don't know if you even know this influencer comedian Drewski.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Drewski, if you follow or see what he does, he will put on like a Colton Cowser jersey. No one knows who he is outside of people who watch the game. Or Mike Soroka jersey, just because the guy had a under 3 ERA in 30 relief appearances. I think that baseball as an aesthetic is starting to get cooler. We're seeing a lot of more players getting shine for how they have swag outside of the game. We have the Hill Boys, a group of black players who are really talented, who kind of reside and train together in Atlanta. We have Fernando Tatis. We have Francisco Lindor. We just have a lot of players with a lot more swag. Shohei Ohtani has made the game cool. Because like when I think of cool, I think of something that people want to kind of emulate or something like
Has he? Has Shohei made it cool? Has he?
by default. You know how he puts on a white tee. And they're like, oh my gosh,
That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to shave Shohei. Please don't clip this out, y'all. If you listen to this right now, I'm not a Shohei hater, but I do feel like he doesn't do a lot. But it's just cool because he's good at what he does. Not necessarily like, oh, I love Shohei's swag. I'm not like I love what suit he's wearing.
When they find a unicorn, they gotta throw every type of marketing media around him. But I mean, like just him, just kind of being like an international figure, kind of set baseball in the line side of a lot more people than it would have. But I think as people kind of see players outside the game, typically when we think of baseball players, even like growing up in high school, oh, this guy plays baseball. He's gonna get married at 20 years old. As soon as he gets a major league contract, and he's gonna have a full family by the time he's 30. No, some of these guys are like Jazz Chisholm, he out here swagged out, probably going out at night, things like that. I think we're getting a lot more visibility that baseball players are not just one-dimensional people. And so I think that's what's really kind of making the game more cool. We got Mookie Betts has his own podcast where he's talking to rival teams. We've never seen things like this before. So I think it's just as we get closer to the players and kind of see that that players are cool, we kind of see that the game is cool too.
Yeah, I agree. I grew up in the '90s, which was kind of a weird time because I feel like the old days, greatest show on turf days of '70s and '80s had some guys, and the '90s had some stars. I mean, I was a Frank Thomas guy, Albert Bell, but I felt like there was really more into the team. Jerry Seinfeld, the comedian, has this bit that we root for laundry. We love the Mets because the team wearing the orange and blue are the Mets, so go Mets. But I would say for the first time in like 5 years, I felt like, oh yeah, I want to get a Lindor jersey, or hey, if Sean Manaea resigns, I'm going to get his jersey too, or something like that. And I know baseball wants to put their head down and say we're the team sport, but I think those days are pretty much over with. No,
they are. I think a lot of people are connected to players more than just the entire team, and I think that's what's a benefit of me kind of growing up in my baseball generation. I mean, just kind of being able to be connected to players as individuals, and it kind of makes it hard to just be like riding for one team when you have a player on the A's that you like, you have a player on the Mets that you love, you have a player that you had on the Reds that you like better than your entire roster. So it just kind of makes it easier to connect with the game when you're able to kind of see players in a different light.
Kind of a personal question: are you up to wearing swag from other major league teams?
Hell yeah! I got an in division rival jacket in my closet. A Mariners jacket. The Mariners. I don't know. They just got good colors. I love their history. I love
Yeah.
I love that they had Ichiro. I have an
Okay.
A's jersey. The A's is a team that I feel like an Oakland A's jersey. Chris
Yeah.
Davis.
I think
Um,
those are different because they got abused, man. Like I feel bad for them.
so long. We have a conversation about that, but I feel like if you're a fan of the game, you need to have more than just your own team's jersey. I don't care. Like Yankees fans too. If you listen to Yankees fans too, have another jersey in your closet, or else you're not really a baseball fan if you're not really rocking other teams.
Do you have a Rangers jersey in your closet?
No, I don't have a Rangers jersey.
Why not? You just said. Hey, excuse me.
I feel like there's rules to it of the game.
What are the rules now? They're not even your division. They're in a different. Well, no, I
Listen,
mean they are in your division, but
if I get
they
a
were
Rangers
historically in
jersey,
division.
if I get a Rangers jersey, I would get a Michael Young jersey and perhaps a Beltray jersey.
That does not count. You know damn well why.
But
Yo,
it's like
Marcus
a
Simeon
red.
walks in right now. You gonna tell
Okay,
him
I will
no?
get a Marcus Simeon jersey. That's
Ah,
actually a little bit, but I see him more as an Oakland A and even a Blue Jay more. I kind of
yeah.
forget. It's kind of just like try not to believe that he's a Rangers player, even though he's going to be there for a very long time, make a lot of money. Marcus Simeon, shout out to Marcus Simeon, one of the greatest second basemen I've been able to see in my lifetime. But I don't have any Rangers jerseys. I don't have any hats. I don't have any merch. Maybe
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
thing. Just like asking a Yankees fan to have Boston, you know, I
That's what
wouldn't
I was saying.
charge him to do that.
You're like, oh man, I'm open to everything. I'm like the Rangers, nah. In fact, I
It's
dated myself because
weird.
I forgot they're in the same division because there was a time when they weren't. And I'm like, oh yeah. But see,
It
my
was
thing, I can't do it. I'll wear everyone's minor league team. I'll get a sugar sweet cowboy, whatever that's called. Space cowboy. I get that. I'll get that, but I can never wear a Braves jersey or a Phillies. I can't. I just couldn't. I
that's
couldn't man.
tough. I think Braves is tough, but like a Philly jersey is really that's not a good look for a
I
Mets fan. I'm
I
sorry.
feel like the Mets, Phillies, Braves three-way rivalry is hilarious because if you ask any team, they'll say, "Oh, we have no rivals." But at the same time, that Spider-Man meme of like, "We hate you,
Yeah,
we
that's what
hate
I'm
you."
thinking about.
All right, well, forget the Rangers, man. I always said they're cool colors. I like the Rangers thing, but I didn't like the fact that this is like, oh, we're Texas. They're in Arlington, but when I was a kid, that whole area was called Dallas. But apparently, Arlington goes hard for themselves now, so I thought it was kind of cocky. So I never
They
buy the
just have
jersey.
Six Flags. That's what they're known for.
Yeah, and humidity. Yeah, pretty much it.
Yes.
I saw a Renegades game once. If you guys shout out to the UFL, XFL thing.
Hey.
Not the point. So we touched upon this, man. One of the cool things about being in the Black Baseball Mixtape Discord, you're essentially our community manager, man. You keep everybody in line. You drive the conversation. You find content and videos. Thank you for that, making my job look easier. We talked about at length about the Oakland, or now just the Athletics. They don't really have a city anymore. They're in between Sacramento, Oakland, and Las Vegas. Thoughts about this? Because as a recording this, Luis Severino just got signed to a massive deal, which is literally
Yeah.
twice their payroll, or their payroll was last year. What is going on from your perspective with this whole Oakland A's or A's debacle?
Greed, in its most base form that I've ever seen. It is the it is the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. And it's very dirty, more so not really even a reflection on the owner, on the entire league. How did 29 other owners approve this? And how did the commissioner approve this? It has to be a greed thing. And I was fortunate to be able to see the Oakland A's. I went with another member of our community, the Black Baseball Mixtape. Shout out to Khalif. We went to
Hey,
an Oakland A's game, and we also went to a Ballers game, which is also cool. But like just being there, and I was able to. I've gone to Oakland games before, and it's one of my favorite baseball experiences. No matter how it smells outside, whatever, it's real grungy. You got to be a real baseball fan to be there. What I
mm-hmm.
see is just pure greed. You have a city that has been one of the biggest sports markets in our history. I mean, it's already in Cali, and you're moving it to Las Vegas just because it seems like a quick bag. And we don't even know if John Fisher, the owner of the Oakland A's or the A's, intends to keep this team. Let's say he's just trying to raise the value by just maybe one bill and then just sell it off, which I probably anticipate he's going to do whenever the team gets more valuable. And like you mentioned, they just signed a free agent, which surprises all of us. You would think a team that's moving would be trying to save every dollar, every quarter that they can. But what we see here is just pure billionaire greed. I don't think John Fisher has had an interview in almost like 4 or 5 years. He won't talk about the issue. The city of Oakland has spoken out about it. They've even created different proposals and avenues to be able to keep the team. But it's just a pure greed move. And then in the next 10 years, we'll look at this as, I think, a mistake, because just the vibe going to Oakland and watching an Oakland A's game, no matter how many people were there, it's always special. The audience members have always been engaged. They always love the team. They ride with them when they lose or they win. And I think it's a big loss for baseball. And I can't even like put that on the owner of the A's. I mean, he's doing it, but MLB is allowing it, and I think that makes it worse.
It's an unfortunate situation, a very complex one. Everyone seems that they're at fault for something on some level because there's always a internet baseball contingent being like, if Oakland really wanted that team, they would do
Yeah.
this or what have you. But to the whole merch question, I always feel like we should always buy athletics merch for what would have been. That's kind of a sad feeling to have watching it because as far as baseball goes, we wanted to get better. We wanted to expand. I know Nashville has a exploration group and Charlotte as well. But you look at teams like the Pirates and the Rockies and the Rays and some levels Milwaukee with the facilities, and I go, can we even think about expansion to new markets if the 30 you have may need some TLC?
That's a good point. You dropped the Rays there. And it's like the Rays and the A's, it's almost hard to even compare them because you can see the Rays trying to stay in Florida at least, or Tampa, or around that part. You can see them trying. Even though I know these guys are billionaires, they can do whatever they want to do. But the A's, this has been very like disturbing. Some will even say perverse what the owner is doing. And honestly, it's hard to see 30 teams calling themselves Major League Baseball teams in the same league when two of them will be playing in minor league facilities that don't go over 2,000, 200,000, 20,000 seats, So it's kind of hard to believe that we're going to even get an expansion team. If anything, it's going to be like what the White Sox sell and then move to Nashville. You know?
Dude, that
You're
would break
saying
my heart, man. I
that
grew
would
up a
break my
Chicago Sox fan when the leagues were split. That was like my AL team, and I've said it before in the episodes, but I have a brick over there at USL, guaranteed rate field, and if they
Mhm.
move, my heart would be broken. I think like I
Yeah.
love having the two teams in the same area. If the
Talk
Mets
about
had
the
to move,
demographic change.
oh yeah, absolutely, man. If I had my way, man, I would keep Oakland there, but go into like
Me
Charlotte
too.
from the south side of Chicago, like what?
That's rough. That is rough.
So I gotta ask, man, long-term baseball fan, who is your guy or guys now, and who was your guy or guys growing up?
Damn, you should let me prepare for that one. But guys now,
Pop quiz.
hey man. So here's the thing about me. The people that I pick are probably not people that most people won't pick. I really do like certain tools. There's a guy playing for there's a guy playing for the Milwaukee Brewers. He plays center field. He's a black player. I'm gonna be leaning into black players. Blake Perkins. Blake Perkins is
Hmm.
not really talked about a lot, but this guy can pick it. This is probably the second coming of Lorenzo Kane. Um, just as good as a defender. I think he was robbed out of a Gold Glove this year, and I think it would have gave him a lot more, playing time maybe going into this year. Blake Perkins is a player that I think we should keep our eyes on. Another player I think we should keep our eyes on is Lawrence Butler from the A's,
Absolutely.
the No City A's. This guy
No
is
City A's.
incredible with the bat. He can defend. He's also has a lot of good he has a great attitude for a guy playing for a team with no real home. And so those are some guys we should kind of keep our eyes on. Guys that I kind of was growing up with. Man, to be honest, I'm leaning some black players. One guy that used to come to town when the Astros were in the National League was Ricky Weeks.
Okay.
And
All right.
he would
Yeah.
just be smacking and whacking the ball all around Minute Maid Park. Whatever kind of like triple A pitcher we would bring up. Rick, just being able to have
Oh, so you're always a masochist. Oh, they're beating us so good.
I was like, damn, he hitting the shit up. I mean, like if you grow up as an Astro, seeing the Astros get beaten up so much, and you see them win, and you see them get beat again, it's like deja vu. You're just like, oh, okay, hit me again. It's like crazy. Ricky was hitting the ball. Ricky, I just love to see like a black player with locks, just like slapping the ball all over the place. So him and also McCutcheon too. McCutcheon was a player that I kind of stuck close to. I was really mad just watching this one episode of MLB. They used to do this top 10 thing, and I think they ranked like AJ Pollock over Andrew McCutcheon one year, and I lost it. And I still don't. And I think that was 10 years ago. And I still
Right.
hate that. I hate that ranking. You see which player's playing right now, you see which one isn't. So I'm like, y'all was wrong. So
Wow. I mean,
McCutcheon,
it's facts, but
yeah,
wow.
like come on, like this is McCutcheon. He just won MVP, and y'all give him what the number 6 center fielder, and then Pollock is number 5. Bro didn't even play 100 games that year, but that's a rant I'll get on somewhere else on private recording. But McCutcheon, anybody like McCutcheon and Ricky Weeks were the guys that I grew up just like watching, just like smack the ball all over the place, right field, left field, center field. I just love hitting diversity like that.
All right, so we talked about the A's, we talked about the Astros, but if those two teams were off the board, who would you be a fan of?
If the Astros and who else wasn't on the
So
team?
if your hometown Astros was not involved and the sympathy A's were not involved, of the 28 teams left,
Oh,
which team would
Seattle
you be a fan?
Mariners.
Because of the colors? Show you the colors. Or the city, the
Okay,
vibe.
so not only because the colors, they have a okay, so I have a love-hate relationship because of their leadership. I mean, that's everybody, you love the team, hate the leadership. Oh, not even hate it. I mean, like DePoto is a great evaluator of talent. Um, every year he's usually like top 10 on the prospects board. Um, I just love just the vibe of the Seattle. I do like the colors. The team, they just can't hit, but at the same time, it just seems like they're just that close. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if the Astros dynasty is over in 2025, if or when we lose Bregman, because the offer we offered Bregman was just not going to cut it. The Mariners might be next, and not the Rangers, but the Mariners, because of just how much depth they have in their minor league system, their willingness to like trust their pitchers. Like they have guys in their first or second year going almost 200 innings in pitching. That's unheard of. And just their monopoly that they have in Washington, they really should take advantage of that. And so, I'm or the Pacific Northwest, to be honest. So I think that the Mariners will be my team,
I
and I have
just
a jacket, and so it helps.
I hear you. I hear that because I mean, the colors are dope. And again, as a '90s kid, I grew up with that Bill Nye the Science Guy. I always wanted to visit.
Yeah.
I always say if the Mets were off the board and the White Sox were off the board, and to be fair, let's say the Athletics weren't there, I would be a Rockies fan because somebody has to be. They're out there, got the largest statewide fan base. Like, come on, man! Someone has to root for them. Root for the Rockies.
Hey, there's a few. There's some of us
Yeah.
live there. You know,
I just feel like in the alternate universe, that's like the team with a 20-year like World Series back championship run. But
honestly, they should be. That
yeah,
hitting environment, their history. I mean, they have a chip, right? They have a a championship. They won it with Holiday, right?
do they? I
Yeah,
don't
I
look
thought
that
they
up.
won one with Matt Holiday.
I know they went to the World Series. I'm not sure if I have to double check that
They
now.
win that one.
I'm
That
not.
was the Boston. That was Boston versus Colorado. What? Right?
No, that was yeah. Boston won in '07. Boston, yeah, that was the second one. They were the losing team in '07.
Oh,
But they did
see,
make an appearance because I know when they say who hasn't been to the World Series or who hasn't won one, it's like the Mariners, the Rockies, the Padres. I'm missing one, like four of them.
I
But
know there's one more. Damn. Is it
but
Padres? Of
the,
course.
the, the Padres, come on,
Maybe
they
Padres would be my other team, huh?
oh
Because I
no,
mean,
I can't do. I
you
look,
can't
don't
play
get
with
me.
them.
I used to. This is why I can't be a Padres fan
It's
right
the colors.
now. No, definitely the colors because that UPS poop brown P yellow thing ain't working. My God, I know it's the original thing. I get it, but like I lived in LA for 17 years now. And I would go out of my way to go to San Diego to watch games. I would talk about the vibes. It's downtown. Petco Park has so many bars. Make a
Hmm.
weekend out of it. I was there when Bartolo Colon hit that home run off of
Damn,
James
you were?
Shields. Yeah, it was in the third inning. I blew my voice out. It was
Oh
great.
my God.
Fun fact: James Shields was never the same again. They traded him Chicago, got Fernando
Mhm.
Tatis. That's how it worked out. But the thing is, they have a new owner. And props to them for investing in their team. I'm not knocking that. I don't really get into the whole you're buying a championship, you got to pay to win. I get that. But people came out the woodwork with crisp jerseys with the tag still on them, being like lifelong Padres fan. I was like, bro, I was up there at Petco when it was 8,000 people to watch the New York
Mm,
Mets and 7,000 were Mets fans. Don't talk to me like you was
mm,
going every year when Tony Gwynn pieced out. And they brought in Tatis. Those 15 years was nobody out there. So this year, I've
right.
learned to not like them. I'll go.
I
Because the
see.
park is nice, but I don't. If you're a fan of a team, I'm not trying to gatekeep. You could be a fan from one day. You could be a fan for 20 years, but don't just call me a team is winning and be like, I'm a fan. I can't stand that. I
I
can't.
will say that one viral song, people hate it.
That's what's in.
I that's what's in. What do you say? Like, well, Bryce is gonna lose and Mickey's gonna cruise. That's why I like
Ah.
that shit.
Wait,
I thought
ironically,
it was like that's so unique and so stupid that I love it. So I don't know. That's one thing that made me respect the Padres because their fans they don't give a crap how they look.
okay,
They'll
okay,
go
so
out there and make a song like that and just be like, "We're gonna go lose, but hey, we made a banger." So
yeah,
I mean, hey,
post that, yeah.
yeah. Post that one, post that.
Padres fans will come after me. If you're a Padres fan and want to be on the show, let me know. We can talk about it. But yeah, man, 2025 is rolling through. I don't know. It's kind of early for predictions. Won't put you on the spot, but what's something you're looking forward to the most as we wind this up here today?
2025. So what I'm looking forward to seeing is some teams take a step forward. We were waiting for a lot of teams to take a step forward in 2024. And I think some teams that we didn't expect to take a big step forward did, like the Tigers, the Royals. Some would even say, what was that? Not the it was a Central team, but the Brewers. I mean, they've been consistent, but like for them to be like serious, like this, their division to lose.
Yeah, yeah.
But I want to see some more teams step forward. I mean, like the Reds, they were supposed to be a team that we saw kind of like take advantage of how many prospects and talent that they have. I'm really looking forward to seeing some teams actually make a move. We mentioned the Pirates earlier. I mean, we know they're going to be cheapy to cheapskate, with Bob Nutting running things up there. But, they got Paul Skeens for another 5 years, and they got some other pitching prospects. I want to see them come through. I do want to see the Mariners make a move. The Astros are kind of shaky right now. And so I really want 2025 to be the team where teams kind of flex up, even though they're not going to, all these teams that I mentioned won't sign Juan Soto. They're probably not going to sign Max Fried. They're probably not going to sign Corbin Burns. And, I just want to see some teams that are on those margins make a step up. Even the Giants, like teams that like are kind of on the mend, that aren't like completely rebuilding. I want to see this league just get more competitive. I know people are upset about the expanded playoffs and all that. I like seeing teams go down to game 162 and seeing who's going to make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward
So
to.
that's my follow up question. At the beginning of the season, this season, you put two hexes on baseball on the San Francisco Giants and on the Florida Marlins or the Miami Marlins. Do they break out of their curse next year or no?
Okay, so the okay, oh good, oh God,
Because of the departures of King in Miami, and then the PA announcer, what's her name over there in San Francisco?
so
I'm
yeah,
drawing
you said
drawing a blank.
Hexes, right?
Yeah, you're like, oh man, bad juju. You can't get rid
The
of our
Marlins,
women's. Yeah,
the Marlins. Okay, so the Marlins, and this is gonna sound bad, but you got the Marlins, right? You have a this is an environment that is connected to the Caribbean. And you have people playing who run the Marlins who really have shown time and time again that they're going to just spill their entire team and cut it down to the very last nub. And so I think the Marlins have cursed themselves. Um, they don't want it's like you can just kind of it's just like a plain day. They just pretty much cut off all the staff from people from like sessions to marketing. The Marlins are in a place where I think if they were to sell, it would be heartbreaking, but it would be needed. Uh,
mm,
Sell to maybe another environment, another city. I feel like the ownership there is they're money hungry, but on a different level. They're almost like on some John Fisher level of just greed. But when you mentioned the Giants, and now the Giants,
yeah.
different story. I
Because they
think
let go of Ronell Brooks Moon, and you said they let go of Ronell Brooks Moon, they're going to have bad vibes forever. So I didn't know.
yeah, they've chosen that route. It's almost like they just decided to pray to some type of deity that just gives them bad luck. And I think that's what the Marlins are doing. I mean, you can't just continue to go the shop next to be a good team. But then you have the Giants, and I think the Giants have a completely different issue. It's almost as if they want to win the same way that they did from 2010 through 2014. Kind of have this little run with these just like these nice, cute white guys that kind of get it done. But at the same time, you got to spend some money, man. So like you're in San Francisco, you're in California, you don't have no competition in Oakland no more. Everybody's going to your park to watch games in the Bay Area who can afford to live there. So I would say that the Giants are going to maybe turn it around. We've seen them try to pump fake with Carlos Correa, with Judge. They signed a really good center fielder. He got hurt from Korea last year. I think it's going to take Buster Posey. He has a big task on his hand. He's going to have to fight against the Dodgers, who are not going to disappear. Their whole brand is baseball, and that's why I respect them. And the Giants are going to have to decide: are we going to kind of take this Farhan Zaidi thought, which is like platoon, playing the Marlins, pay rookies, or are we going to be a serious team like we used to be? And so I think the Giants have a particularly different issue, and they have a bigger budget. I really want them to take a step forward because you can't just have the Diamondbacks be the only competition or the Padres be the only competition to LA. They need at least three other, kingdoms fighting against them.
I think the Padres and Diamondbacks are the poster franchises for an expanded playoffs because otherwise those guys are never getting in. Never.
You're not getting that division.
They ain't never been. I'm a Padres hater. Buttamanecane, man, here's the fun part, man. Thanks for being on the show. But if someone's listening right now, they want to know more about your takes on baseball, they want to go get some of that body butter, how to go about doing that, how can they connect with you?
Multiple ways you can be never ashy again. So tap in with me. If you're bold enough, send me a DM to Buttamanecane. I got another one, Betty's Book info. Betty's Book is right here. You just look up Betty's Book, you'll find this logo. And you can find our website, bettysbook.com. We have all our butters. We got cherry blossom butter. We got lavender. We got mint eucalyptus if you like to smell nice and clean. We make soaps. All of this is plant-based, all natural. And I've been doing it for 4 years, so I know what I'm talking about. You see how clear my skin is. So also make beard butters, mustache, little mustache wax a little bit. So tap in with us. We're doing more than just making butters. We're elevating community stories. We're starting community events. And we want to make sure that conscious entrepreneurs are just known. And so shout out to just everybody who's doing their thing. We just want to be a part of your story. So tap into Betty's Book. You'll learn more.
Last question, quick question.
Yes.
Favorite baseball video game of all time?
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't lie. MLB The Show. I mean, whatever.
Which year?
Which year? Man, I think 2023 got it right.
Okay, the Jazzism. That's Jazzism.
The Jazz. Even though people hated Jazz being on the front, the opening. The graphics, the way they did make black players look, because I've been paying attention to them. I was like, that actually looks like Lamont Wayne Jr. That actually looks like Jazz Chisholm. That actually looks like Lawrence Butler. So I feel like they were getting better at like in comic books they have trouble with color and
yeah.
I think
I hear you.
Time when they actually cared. It's like okay, y'all know what the demographic is in the soundtrack. How you get two Ari Lennox tracks on a baseball game?
True.
How does that happen? So I like that. I like a lot more of our culture starting to permeate the game. Hopefully, the game kind of sees that and kind of invests in us a lot more in the development side and the minor league side and the player side and keeping players on the team. Things like that. So I hope that kind of informs that. But that's why I like it because there's a lot of Black culture, not only the music. And it's looking like they're trying to do some type of with that, which I do agree with. The Negro Leagues being included in the game as well. That's why I think it's probably is the premier game or video game for baseball.
Buttamanecane keeps up with the new stuff. Find him, Betty's Book, learn more at Buttamanecane on your favorite social media platform. This is In the Booth. We'll be back next time. Hopefully, if not from some Padres fans, because we're going to have a debate.
We need to hear from them.
I don't want to hear from them.
I don't hate y'all Padres fans. We're friends.
Don't all right. Me. I'm going to buy your Rangers jersey. No. You said.
That's what's in. I love the song. Please don't send me any hate mail. That's
That's
what's
what's
in. Just send
in.
me that.